Hey guys, welcome to day 2 of our chicken coop build. Today we're going to be showing you how we go out and build our floor. We put the joists in, we put the board down, and it should be ready to go for the walls on day 3. Here we show you how we turned our small home into our little family farm. We're going to show you how we tackled lots of little projects and how you can do them too. Alright, so as you can see, we got the basic structure all set up here and on the concrete forms. So now we're going to have to put cross beams in there at every 16 inches. To do that, we're first going to mark out the spaces where they're going to go, and then we're actually going to hammer in these joists, as you can see here. They go up against the frame, and that way we'll place all those in place first, and then we'll be able to sit down our boards in and use the nail gun on that. To put the joists up, we're going to be using these framing joist hanger nails that I got at the local hardware store. They're 1.5 inches, and they should work just perfect. So we're going to go and get everything measured and go from there. Alright, so to start this, we're going to get the tape measure on the very end of the piece of wood here, and then we're going to go down to 16 inches. As you can see on most tape measures, there's actually going to be a mark. In this case, mine is red instead of black lettering, and that indicates where the stud should be. And that'll work out later for our floorboards, and we'll show you that. So in this case, we're going to mark one at the 16, just a little mark, and that's the center of the beam. So you got to make sure to go 3/4 of an inch on the other side at 16 3/4 and mark it, and then to the other side of the 16 will be 15 1/4. Okay. So now we'll go down and continue for the rest of the board. Okay, so what we're going to do here, we're basically going to put up the joist hanger so that the bottom is going to be level with the bottom piece of wood there. And then it's lined up with the line that we drew earlier on the left side in this case. This side is going to be a little bit off just because it's hanging there, but we'll take care of that here in just a minute. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and leave that for now. Once we put our beam in, we'll sandwich in place. We don't want to do this now because if you pull this over, it may be too tight of a fit for that future beam. But what I am going to do is get these all set. I'm going to get the rest done, and I'll be back with you to show you what we do next. Alright guys, so we got our first beam here. It's ready to go. We had to cut them to size just because of some issues building this, so we had to cut like 1 inch off of them. So we'll go ahead and slide it in here. Okay. We're going to pull that back towards that board and hammer in the first nail, and then we'll do the other two. Now that side's in, we're going to go ahead and do the other side. Getting that first nail started is probably the hardest part of this job. So now that it's in there, we have to secure that beam in there to this side end of it. So the way that we're going to do that is we got our framing nail gun. This is a Numax framing nail gun. We got this for about $100 I think on Amazon, as well as our 150 psi 6-gallon tank that works just perfect for this. So what we're going to do is we are going to connect our nail gun. Alright, so now that's ready to go. So be careful with this. Make sure to use safety equipment. So what this is made to do, this joist, is there's two holes right here, and they kind of look like they're at an angle, and they're like a top of a ball or something. So we're going to very carefully aim our nail gun. There we go. Alright, and then you get your nail in there, and it'll actually go sideways kind of. You want it to go into the front board there. So you want to kind of go at a 45-degree angle, just like that. So this is a pretty difficult thing to get this framing gun just right and perfect. So For my purposes, this will work, and I'll try and get better on the next one. But as long as it holds it and supports it, it's all good for me. Cool. See, that's what you want. Alright guys, so that's pretty much the instructions. I'm going to go ahead and leave you here right now. I'm going to finish up the rest of these beams. Shouldn't take more than a half an hour or so. I just got to cut a little off and put them in, and I'll check back in with you to do the flooring. Alright guys, all the cross members are in. As you can see in these pictures, I'll show you some of the joints that I started off with, as you saw in the, just previously, looked pretty terrible. But as I got going, they started to look better, just getting a hang of where the nail comes out of the gun. So now with this being said, we're going to go ahead and take a look at our concrete forms and try and take off those covers at least down to ground level, and then we'll try and level everything out. I make a cut. That's not really coming at all. So I'm gonna go grab a pair of pliers. Okay, so change plans. What I'm gonna do is take a screwdriver and put it in between the form and tap it in nice and easy with the hammer. Got it going now. Take it the rest of the way. Alright, so those came off fairly easily. Once you get it started, it should just pull right off. It's important to not try and hammer that screwdriver into the concrete because that could scratch it. Just try and keep it in between the concrete and the paper mold, and eventually it'll start separating and be able to pull it off. So now that that's all done, it looks pretty good. It's going to be time to level it. So I'm not sure exactly if it's completely level. I have a feeling that that corner is probably a little bit lower just by looks. So what I did is I got a 1 1/4 inch piece of 2x4 that I cut lengthwise in there. I'm going to lift this up and slide it under to see what it does for my level. Alright, well that's about as good as we're going to get for this side, so we'll go ahead and check the other sides and shim as necessary. Alright, so we got everything in place here. Next what we're going to do is we're going to take our nail gun and secure it in place with the holes that are in the frame. So now that everything is level, we'll go ahead and get the boards that'll go on top of here and put those down. So we got that big board out here. Cautiously, we're gonna set it on here. So something you'll notice about this, it's actually really helpful. There are lines painted on here for where those studs are that are underneath. So that way you can just nail through those as you're going along. Makes it pretty quick and easy. Okay, now that it's right in place, we're gonna make sure it's even with all the boards. And if nothing else, extending out a little bit. So go ahead and get working. Make sure to hold it down a little bit when you first start. All right, so that's looking good. Keep in mind we wanted to go this way and lay the board kind of perpendicular to the cross beams, and that way when it does, the edge does end, it is on a it's not going to cause any low spots or anything like that. So I'll go get the next board, put it on. Okay, so there's a tongue and groove system here. Try and interlock in two. Okay, so you can see it's not a little bit off, so I'm not perfect at this. I got some of the angles incorrect, but what I'll do is I'll get this on here, and I'll come back later after I go back to the store and get another sheet and just put the slices on there. For now, let's get this attached. So we get everything down. I'm going to go back and clean up just a few of the nails with my hammer. We'll be all done for today. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure to stay tuned for our next video on starting up the walls and getting this ready to put on the door and windows. If you like this video, go ahead and hit the subscribe button below and click on the bell to make sure to get alerted when we come out with all of our new videos. And make sure to watch out for next week when we start putting up the walls and adding the doors and windows.